Chief Moorhead for his selection as New Hampshire Volunteer of the Year. Students at Lin-Wood have to record 40 hours of community service as a requirement for graduation. If Chief Moorhead was one of our students, he probably would have completed his hours after the first week of his freshman year. His presence and involvement are evident at many school and community events, and his selection as Volunteer of the Year is well deserved. We are here to celebrate his accomplishments and to show our appreciation for all that he has done for the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock. But now I'd like to have the Middle High School Chorus sing under the direction of Mrs. Berger. Thank you very much.
Wow. Okay, we are all here today to celebrate a person's involvement and investment in his communities. And I would like to be the one to introduce another person to you all who has given much time to our state. Your Excellency, Governor of New Hampshire, Mrs. Maggie Hassan.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am delighted to be here with you, particularly to honor Chief Moorhead. And I want to start by just saying how honored I am to be with all of you to help celebrate his dedication and service to the state. And before I start my remarks, I want to let you know that there were a number of members of the legislature, Chief, who wanted to be here. But it's a Wednesday in New Hampshire, which means that your legislators this time of year are down in Concord doing the people's business. So many of them couldn't be here. I know Senator Woodburn wanted to be here. I'm sure Senator Forrester did too. And I have a letter here from Representative Gianna. So I thought I would read that, and he asked me to convey a proclamation from the House of Representatives for you as well. And then I have a few remarks of my own. This is to Doug Moorhead, Chief of the Woodstock Police Department. Dear Doug, I'm very disappointed that I am not able to present you with the proclamation from the New Hampshire House of Representatives. This is the time of year when all the bills in the House and Senate cross over, and it requires that I be present. However, let it be known that my colleagues and I are very proud of you for all that you have accomplished. We are thankful for all that you have done on behalf of the citizens of Lincoln and Woodstock. You are a perfect role model of what a police chief should be. Congratulations. You certainly deserve to be recognized for all that you have contributed. Sincerely, Representative Edmund D. Gianna, Grafton County District 5. And then this is from the House of Representatives. And boys and girls, for those of you who don't know, the House of Representatives has 400 members. They work as volunteers in Concord for 6 months of the year to pass the laws that affect all of us. And this is a declaration that is signed by the Speaker of the House, who is the leader of the House of Representatives and speaks on behalf of the entire body of 400. And this says, a declaration in recognition of Chief Douglas Moorhead for his unwavering dedication to protecting and serving the town of Woodstock. Let it be known that Douglas Moorhead has faithfully served as Chief of Police in the town of Woodstock for nearly 20 years. And be it further known that Chief Moorhead has spent countless hours giving back to his community by assisting the elderly, broadening the perspectives of local students, spearheading charitable events for the Special Olympics, and raising money to help make the holidays more special for area families in need. Now therefore be it declared that the New Hampshire House of Representatives, by virtue of the Speaker's signature inscribed below, congratulates Chief Moorhead for recently receiving the Spirit of New Hampshire Award for Volunteerism, and extends its highest accolades and plaudits to Chief Moorhead for his continued exemplary community service to the town of Woodstock and surrounding towns over the last 2 decades. And it is signed by Sean Jasper, the Speaker of the New Hampshire House. So, Chief, congratulations to you from the House of Representatives and from all our legislators in Concord. And I know that I bring greetings from throughout the state to you as well. It is my pleasure to be here with Superintendent McGann and Principal Nelson and members of the Lincoln Woodstock community, as well as the Moorhead family and the Chief's department, as well as Chief Moorhead himself. I had a chance to visit with Chief Moorhead and his family in Concord a little bit earlier this year after he won the Spirit of New Hampshire's Volunteer of the Year Award. And I think I, like many of those of us who first learn about you, Chief, and about everything you've done for your community, was a bit overwhelmed at everything that the Chief does in addition to being Chief of Police. But perhaps that says a lot about New Hampshire and about what our law enforcement community and our community leaders do, because they rarely do just one thing. They rarely just lead a police department. they do whatever they can for the community, and certainly Chief Moorhead's example is one that we can all strive to follow. Chief, in addition to doing everything you do to keep Woodstock safe, you do much more. You distribute food, clothes, and toys over the holidays. You support the Special Olympics so that more and more athletes can join and participate. I hear that the chief is always cooking at charity events, and I promise to find one so I can come taste some of your terrific cooking. I heard all about that. I know, in addition, that the chief helps his neighbors with snow removal or other things kind of around the house that friends and neighbors might need. You know, it is really hard to drive up here from the southern part of the state, as I try to do as frequently as I can, and not be struck by what the geography of this part of the state tells us about New Hampshire. As you drive up and you see those big mountains and you see those rugged profiles, you begin to really think about the fact that we are a state of rugged individuals. We care very deeply about that and about being able to chart our own course in life. But at the base of those mountains, you realize how connected they are. And in fact, what we do in the Granite State is we blend that strong sense of individualism and self-determination with an equally strong sense of community. Because while we don't always like to admit it, almost all of us, well, all of us at some point or another is going to need a helping hand. And one of the things that living in this kind of rugged environment taught our forefathers and our foremothers was that you better help out from time to time, because someday you're going to need that kind of help too. We also learned that when you help each other, you get much stronger. And certainly that is Chief Moorhead's example. He, I think, would tell you all how much stronger the community spirit in Woodstock. Any announcements? I think he would tell you how much stronger he and his family have become because of the reciprocal help and spirit that you all give back to him. But more than anything, I think what Chief Moorhead's example indicates to all of us is that when you help and when you look for the best in everybody, that's really what helping is all about. You help one person so that they can do what they're good at. And as you begin to appreciate how many people have so many talents and strengths to give, when you do that, you find that we all get stronger. And Chief, as I think about your example and I think about all the things you have done to help people young and old and everywhere in between, I am struck by the fact that you just really are the epitome of the New Hampshire all-hands-on-deck spirit that we all love so much. You are the epitome of a police chief who knows that your community is safe when it is strong. And your community is safe when it has confidence in its ability to help each other out through the tough times and to celebrate with each other in the good times. And your community is safe and strong when you are unleashing the talent and energy of every single community member. And that, more than anything else, speaks to the kind of people we are, the kind of democracy we have, and more than anything, the kind of leadership and example you've shown. We are very, very grateful. Congratulations.
Hi there. I'd like to call up some of the kindergarten through third grade children. If I could please have come up first, Gavin and Owen, Edna, Aurora, Ryder, Dylan, Alexis, Emma, Sarah, and McKenna. volunteer. Very, very helpful. Oh! Opportunities never miss. Love for our community. Unselfish commitment. Never says no. Takes time to care. Everybody's friend. Excellent cook. Ready, willing, and able. What does that spell, boys and girls?
gift to the people of the community. Community, where you are the girl master.
Master of helping kids get Christmas presents. Present, you are always around.
Around town you will always see. Seen smiling and laughing at parties.
Parties that you help create. Create a sense of joy.
Joy to know you. You, volunteer of the year.
You are by Demetrius Meadows and Alexis Collingham.
You are selfless and friendly. You wonder if you do enough. You hear the words thank you from everyone here today. You see the joy spread on the faces of the children you help. You want everyone to have great lives.
You are selfless and friendly. You pretend that everything will be okay. You feel as if you must always be doing something. You touch the hearts of everyone in our community. You worry about the safety and of the families in need. You cry, come and get it, when you flip your last burger.
You are selfless and friendly. You understand the hearts of these towns. You say, I'll do it. You dream of the day you kick back and relax. You try, but you probably won't. You hope to accomplish more than needed. You are selfless and friendly.
There is a lot to say about Chief Doug Moorhead, a man who has done so much for the Lincoln and Woodstock community. Chief has held many important positions throughout the years in our community, including being Chief of the Woodstock Police Department, a member of the Rotary Club, and the owner of a large wagon that always seems to be full of food. At his position as a police officer, Chief Moorhead has always been there to ensure the safety of each and every individual in our community.
Chief has been a member of the Lincoln Woodstock Rotary Club for numerous years, even serving as president at one point. In this group of community members concerned with providing humanitarian services, high ethical standards, and goodwill and peace for every person, not just in their community, but worldwide.
It was not until I joined the Interact Club during my freshman year did I realize how great of an impact Chief Moorhead had on the Lincoln Woodstock community. In addition to serving under the police department and being a member of the Rotary Club, Chief also spends a great deal of time with the Interact Club, a youth version of the Rotary. During my time at Interact, Chief Moorhead has consistently been a role model to myself and everyone else in displaying the Rotary value of service above self. Since I've been a part of the club, I've come to learn that whenever I ask if something's done, Chief has already got that before we can even blink our eyes.
The Interact Club must complete both international and local community service projects. Our international project involves multiple fundraisers. One of our fundraisers is the Kankathon, which involves collecting prizes to give to all the participants. Every year, Chief collects countless prizes, occasionally bringing along students. In addition, Chief sends out donations for all the food served that day and cooks it all himself. Without Chief Moorhead, this fundraiser would not be a possibility. He also pulls his wagon full of food and grills to several other community events, such as Interact's annual Halloween fundraiser, the Rotary Club's annual mini golf tournament, the Woodstock 250th, the Lincoln 250th, and other events, resulting in many full and happy bellies.
In February 2013, the Interact Club, as well as the members of the Rotary Club, which included Chief Moorhead, traveled to Secund's Belize, the Good Shepherd Medical Clinic. A few years prior, Chief had gone down with another group of students to build an incinerator for medical waste. During the trip in February 2014, I was fortunate enough to attend and be involved in the construction of the playground. Every morning, Chief would wake up at 5 a.m. as soon as daylight hit, 2 hours before everyone even woke up, so that he could begin working on the playground by himself to get a head start. He'd work the longest and hardest out of all of us to make sure that every job was fulfilled. Never once did Chief complain of the heat, as we sweated the most I ever had in my entire life.
Outside of Interact and Rotary, Chief Moorhead has brought joy to many families in our community during the holidays. He has collected food for several families for both Christmas and Thanksgiving, allowing them to enjoy a special meal with their loved ones. This also includes serving food to the elderly. Chief is also responsible for collecting and shopping for Christmas gifts to make sure that all children in our community receive gifts and something for Christmas, as well as winter clothing to ensure they stay warm during the cold weather. He provides a Merry Christmas for everyone. Chief also participates in other activities to travel the extra mile outside of his Olympics. Every year, he freezes as he jumps into the frigid water at the Windy Dip to raise money for Special Olympics. Chief is involved in family housing developments in Plymouth, and many of the youth in our town also owe Chief for teaching them how to drive.
In most all things Chief does, he strives to get the youth involved. He works extensively with the Interact Club, but outside of that, he takes teens with him to do all his other services, such as collecting gifts for Christmas, cooking food for many events, and encouraging them to be involved in community events like the Winnie Dip. Because of this, Chief has passed on his compassion for helping others, making all those whose lives he's touched better citizens in our community and any community they may enter in the future. Chief has taught many people how to be passionate about any cause and how to create a long-lasting impact. As part of my closing, I would like to end with a quote by Mother Teresa that reads, "Love is not patronizing, and charity isn't about pity. It is about love. Charity and love are the same. With charity, you give love. So don't just give money, but reach out your hand instead." For all the services he has supplied to our community and others, there is no better recipient for the New Hampshire Volunteer of the Year Award than Chief Doug Moorhead. Our gratitude for all you've done is never-ending.
Mr. Nelson, I don't know if I got the right memo. Was this supposed to be a tribute to Doug and not a roast? Sorry. On behalf of the Lincoln Woodstock Rotary Club, I'm here to let you know what Doug Moorhead means to our club, and just as importantly, what he means to our community and other communities he serves as a Rotarian. Not too many years back, the Lincoln Woodstock Rotary Club was in danger of losing its charter from the district and disappearing. Membership numbers had dwindled, and only a few of those dwindling members were active. Doug was the glue that held the club together at that time, taking on the presidential role year after year, until he and Ed Fournier started to think out of the box on ways to save our club. They ultimately moved the meetings from dinner meetings to breakfast meetings, resulting in an increase of 20+ members over the next few years, ultimately winning membership awards from that same district that was ready to revoke their charter. Had this community lost this club, they would have lost $25,000 per year in scholarships awarded to high school seniors. The Christmas Community Chest Delivery Program, which services over 50 families in the community. The Thanksgiving Basket Delivery Program, Grafton County Senior Citizens Council fundraisers, and the myriad school programs that the club supports, including the Interact Club, FBLA, Youth in Government, the annual speech contest, RILA, providing food for Winter Carnival and other school events, providing winter clothing for those in need, and the list goes on. Thank you, Doug, for keeping the club alive and these programs alive in the community. For years, Doug has been a driving force in our club's annual Corvette raffle, a fundraiser which finances the majority of the club's charitable and community service projects. Each year, Doug easily sells many times more Corvette tickets than any other individual, prompting many of us to wonder if he is offering to those he pulls over for speeding an offer they can't refuse. Speeding ticket? Corvette ticket. I'm just saying, but whatever it is, Chief, thank you. Doug is also the first to volunteer to cook at and help organize our annual mini golf tournament, another major fundraiser for our club. Just like for many of the other barbecue opportunities he coordinates, we can count on Doug to be there every year, setting up what we have come to call his carny wagon, which he built himself and continues to add on to, from which he serves whatever he can find to grill, and frankly, whatever he can find to sample as well. I mean, let's face it, he can't serve anything he hasn't taste tested to make sure it's okay for human consumption, correct? All of us who have worked with Doug on that carny wagon look forward to the sampling that we know is going to take place. But along with his grilling talents, I'm sure just about everybody here has sampled his banana bread, mac and cheese, pasta with sausage, quiche, and even chicken with broccoli, which I think he makes just so he has one pseudo-healthy menu on his menu. I've yet to see him prepare a garden salad, but that's okay, because he also makes baked beans to die for. Rotary's motto is service above self, and Doug certainly epitomizes our motto. His energy is limitless when it comes to not only assisting those in need in this community, but also those overseas. Back in 2010, when our Rotary Club partnered with our Interact Club and took its first trip to Belize, Doug was the first to volunteer to be a chaperone for that group. Unlike the other chaperones, he had no children attending, as I had. He had no existing connection with the clinic itself, as Marty Talbot had, and he had no affiliation with the school, the clinic, and the educational component, as Bill Waterhouse had. Doug just volunteered because he wanted to help. And once we got to Belize and started experiencing the realities of working in 100-degree weather under scorching sun, which, by the way, is not easy when you're as svelte and in shape as Doug and I are, all of us felt obliged to keep up with Doug, whether it was hauling sand to make concrete, clearing brush, painting exterior walls, building a medical waste incinerator, whatever it was we needed to do. Doug's carpentry skills are only slightly overwhelmed by his culinary skills, so we spent our days following his lead as we built this or dismantled that. And as tired as we were after trying to keep up with him at work all day, we all made it a challenge to see who could wake up before Doug each morning. But no matter how early any of us got out of bed, Doug was already up making coffee or preparing for that day's project. Sometimes we actually wondered if Doug actually ever slept. But then we were reminded that he certainly did when we remembered how the jungle trembled every night due to his world-class snoring. The folks at the Trek Stop in Belize are preparing once again for Doug's arrival next week, including supplying earplugs for their other guests. As he joins the Interact Club for its third visit to Belize, the only person who has made all 3 trips to assist the folks in Secut's, as well as one trip that he took on his own last year. Needless to say, the Lincoln Woodstock Rotary Club has survived because of Doug and has flourished more recently in great part due to his efforts. On behalf of all of us in the Lincoln Woodstock Rotary Club, on behalf of Rotary District 7850, and on behalf of Rotary International, Doug, we can't thank you enough for all that you have done and all that you continue to do through your charitable efforts as a Rotarian and as a person to try to make life better for everyone who you come in contact with. Thank you and congratulations.
As you can see, we all have the same themes about Chief. We just want to add a few more words.
Give us banana bread you need. Chief can't say no.
Dragging his carny wagon, flipping burgers on the go.
He's good with a paintbrush and even a hammer.
If it's for the community, he's a great planner.
Oh, where was I? Well, kindergarten to seniors, children's needs he can meet.
His time and energy are hard to beat.
Whatever the cause, he's the man on top.
He'll give it his all, and even a belly flop.
Service above, self is the motto he lives by.
An example for all is set by the big guy.
I wanted to share just a few comments from a couple of students in high school. He has guided us. He respects us. He listens to us. He is a leader, a mentor, all of us.
And we'd like to present you with this plaque that says, in appreciation to Chief Moorhead, to honor your dedication to the Lin-Wood community. Thank you, Chief.
coming up to our humble little community. It was wonderful of you to do today. To the staff of the school for putting this whole event on, certainly the students, fire department, my officers. It's really great to see everybody here, and I appreciate everyone saying thank you. But I wanted to just take a minute to say thank you to all you folks, because without this community, okay, without the students and the business people who donate things and the fire department who does so much and everybody else, the things that I'm able to help out with, sometimes take over and volunteer for, wouldn't happen. So it's wonderful that you're saying thank you to me, but you should also say thank you to yourselves, because this is a wonderful community, both Woodstock and Lincoln. I want to say thank you to all the kids who've helped out over the years, and certainly kids are going to help next year and in the future. Is Katie Van Houten, is Katie here today? Where's Katie? There's Katie. I got to apologize to her. I was just thinking 10 years ago, I think maybe even more, she was in first grade and we were out Christmas caroling, and she volunteered to sing Christmas carols, and we were running late and the weather was awful, and the poor kid, she was only about 6 years old, she almost froze to death Christmas caroling with the chief wandering around in freezing rain. But there's so many kids out here and so many stories like that, so many kids who've done wonderful things and helped out, and I just can't say thank you enough to the community at large. Thank you.
That concludes the program. Students can go back to class, and adults are welcome to go into the multipurpose room for a reception. Thank you.